the Earth horizon model of science. Watch. As ships sail away, they don't disappear all at once. No, first, the bottom will disappear. See, the bottom of the ship is gone. Now we can see midway up, and then the whole thing disappears. Now, ships came back. They didn't fall off a table. So
what he's saying is correct in the sense that ships do disappear from the bottom up as they move away from you into the horizon. Where he's wrong is the mechanism of that action, because he's just presuming, positing, and presupposing that it's curved water and it's going over a geometric horizon of water.
All right. People realized that the world is curved. I mean, it's a big curve, but it's curved. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof.
That's right, Bill Nye, the science guy, the lion guy with the bow tie. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof. Like claiming that the world is convex and that water and grand, massive oceans can bend and stick and convex to a spinning water ball that exists in a vacuum.
Extraordinary proof. The world is round.
The world is round. Check this, Harmon. I like this demonstration because this is so simple. It's like I always say, Harmon, the truth is extremely simple. It's the lies that are complex. So this gentleman here is going to eloquently, effortlessly show you how simple this principle is that is unknown to so many. And when it is presented to the modern intelligentsia, like our scientist friend, Mr. Nick Volt, they just obscure, ignore, deflect, and obfuscate this obvious truth.
It's beyond the horizon due to perspective and not the curvature of a round Earth, as demonstrated here with the white cap being the boat and the countertop being the flat Earth. And the camera will be at ground level, as you can see, the white cap in the bottom right corner. Now watch as we move it away. It disappears slowly, then it's totally gone out of your view. Doesn't mean it went over a round counter, does it? Just means it went out of your line of sight due to perspective. But as you can see here, if you zoom in with the camera, you're going to find that it pops right back into view, proving that it did not disappear due to curvature, but due to perspective, and boats do the same thing.
And for those who want to say it was below the table, notice he zoomed back in on it afterwards, showing that indeed the lens was not below the table line because he zoomed back in on it, just like they're going to demonstrate here with boats, quote unquote, over the horizon. "16 miles. What they're showing is when a boat disappears from your vision, your field of view, with your natural vision using your eyes, and people tell you, like Mr. Bill Nye just did, that it went over the horizon and is now occluded by a big wall of water. Well, if you just take a telephoto lens, you can zoom in, and if the conditions are right, clear enough, if the temperature's right, you can see a boat well beyond that purported horizon. In this case, it's 16 miles. If you are a 6 foot tall person, based on the math that Bill Nye was just propagating and endorsing, the math that's associated with the so-called globe that apparently has a 24,901 mile circumference, well, based on that math, you at 6 feet tall with your naked eye should see no further than 3 miles out. The equation is 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That is the supposed geometric horizon. Well, that's really weird, Harmon, because we're looking at about 16 miles out with a telephoto lens. Let me talk to Mindfuck because her cognitive dissonance is kicking in. It looks like the guy is up on the rocks above the water. He is, but that's not the point, Mindfuck. From his vantage point, the boat was into the horizon. He couldn't see it anymore. Do you understand? It's the fact that when he zoomed in, the boat comes back into view. He couldn't see it, where people say it went over, and by zooming in, he was able to see it. You see how people's cog dis kicks in, Harmon? That people look for confirmation bias, right? I didn't say that this man was standing on the shore, which would make him 6 feet high. I said a person standing on the shore that's 6 feet high. But I could rewind it and show it again. The boat was not visible. He zoomed in, and it was visible. That's the point. Because at the point where it was no longer visible to his naked eye, the entirety of science is saying that the boat is being occluded by water curve. So Mindfuck says, what is the elevation of the person in the video zooming in? You need to account for the difference in the level ground you're standing on. That's not the point, Mindfuck. I'll rewind it. The point was, from his vantage point, he's not that far above. Like he's like a couple feet above like water level. You can obviously see. But the point is, Mindfuck, with his eyes, there's no boat. Science is saying, like you saw Bill Nye the Science Guy said, is giving you a reason. Science, quote unquote science, is giving you a mechanism for that boat being gone. I'm sure you were taught that in school, Mindfuck. I was taught. When he zooms in, he therefore debunks that cause, that mechanism of the boat disappearing, showing that it's simply due to perspective and angular resolution regarding optics and the way we see the world. I'll show it again. And there it is. And like you said, Harmon, and the horizon is still well beyond that boat at 16 miles.
Right.
Exactly. Good call on your part. Boats over the horizon has been debunked, everybody. Plain and simple. Now, you may not want to understand it, and your cognitive dissonance and your confirmation bias is going to kick in, because you're going to want to preserve your worldview, because to face such a massive deception, such a massive lie is very difficult, because it challenges the very foundations of your identity, the way you define yourself, and the entire paradigm through which you view this world. Let's continue. And that was a good one, Harmon, because as he zoomed back out, you saw the boat disappear from the bottom down. There's another one, yet another one. I'll keep showing these, Harmon, just to impress it in people's minds.
And that one's ground level right there.
Yeah. Again, not like it fucking matters.
I know. One there, two more in the background.
9 miles. And make no mistake about it, the other thing about the waves is, and that's why you see it kind of coming in and out, a relatively small wave in the foreground, depending on how far out it is, can exclude a large area, okay, vertically speaking. It's how perspective works. I don't need to get into the minutia. Let's keep going. That's 9 miles, everybody. Like you said, he's probably a little bit closer to sea level. Like you said, he's probably standing right on the beach with this one.
Yeah, he's right by the rocks on the beach.
Yeah. Probably why it's 9 as opposed to 16.
the chat, this is what Z was talking about. Finger, like Dave always shows, can't hide my face from right here. But you get closer, it can hide your face. Oh, and it's out farther. You ever see Dave do that?
Yeah, he's just demonstrating perspective. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And I love how this one is showing the effects of the waves too, Harmon.
Right. Up close, they don't do nothing. Far out, they do. Same size waves too.
Yeah. All right, now he's going to zoom back in. Let me go up a little bit. Zoom back out, I should say. Watch him disappear from the bottom up.
Yeah.
There they go. Again, let me explain this to people who are really, 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 really basic. That's impossible if the boats are being occluded by bendy, curving water. Like they're telling you, like the atlas that Harmon just showed you, like the apparent ancient Greeks and Mr. Aristotle himself claimed, just based off his observation, which is perspective and not reality. You don't see in reality. Get it? When you see the train tracks in the distance look like they come together, you know that they don't. Get it? That's how perspective works. Vision and optics are not the demonstrable, testable world that we inhabit. You have to understand this. Let's continue. Here's another one. And there it goes. Bye-bye.
Who is this taking?
So,
I see those two islands.
Where do boats go? The same place the white cap goes. Beyond the vanishing point, our line of sight. It's called perspective. It's always there. You just can't see it with the naked eye. But when you zoom in with the camera, it pops right back into view.
Pops right back into view, just like the cap that we showed earlier. And this one is 23 miles out. Also, Harmon, look at the mirroring and the lensing that's happening at the base of the boat. Mirroring, lensing, refraction, and that refraction obscures objects. It does not magically bring them into view. Let's address this question by does it matter? Who says this, Harmon? I'm going to read it. It says, what does this prove? Go to an observatory, aim that across the ocean. If you see Europe, we can talk. See, Harmon, this is the level that they're going on. Let me ask you, did you hear what I said about perspective? When you look at the train tracks, okay, did you ever stand, Mr. Doesn't Matter, on train tracks that are straight? When you look at them, what happens as they go in the distance? They appear to rise and converge. That's perspective. As things move off into the distance, you're based on optics, which is your vision, everything converges to a focal point in the center. And after a certain point, the angular resolution of any object becomes too small to resolve with your visual acuity. Now, if you don't understand what I just said, I can't help you. Maybe pause it, go back, write it down, think about it, meditate on it. That's a fact. If you just think you can see forever, you are more deluded than the controllers actually would even imagine.
You see where it says 7 degrees? It says 7 degrees. This binoculars, because your eyes go at 2 degrees, you can't discern anything anymore. So at 1,000 yards, this opens it back up to 7 degrees. and eventually it goes back down to 2 degrees. No matter what observatory you use, it will go down below 2 degrees, and you won't be able to discern anything past 2 degrees, let alone the fog and the mist and everything else in the air.
Great point. That's assuming perfect conditions.
Yes.
And they build it in because the resolution associated with the telephoto lens you're saying was listed there.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's
what doesn't matter. Say, I would love real proof. No, because you're being presented with real proof and you're ignoring it. Here's the thing, doesn't matter. There's no amount of proof that I or anybody like me can present you that is ever going to get you to abandon your fundamentalist religion of scientism that you were indoctrinated into. Now, it's not your fault, does it matter? I don't blame you. But now that you are presented with this information, you're at a flat earth channel, which means it's probably not your first one. You have a choice because you are no longer simply ignorant. You will now be willfully ignorant if you choose to ignore this and continue with your fundamentalist dogma. They stole from us the wonder and the mystery of the natural world.
Exactly.
They presented a great delusion in an effort to control us. I can't think of anything worse than that.
Proving that it doesn't go over curvature. And those of you who watch the sunset and think you see the sun.
So now we're going to take the same exact principles that we've been explaining about perspective, optics, convergence, and we're going to now apply it to the sun, because much like a boat is moving away from you, so is the sun.
Going behind a curved earth, you're not. You're seeing the same thing as you've seen with the boat and the white cap. It's just going beyond the limit of your vision. As you can see here, once you zoom in on the horizon, the sun pops right back up into the sky. But once we pan back out, the sun drops just about halfway below the horizon. Dude.
How about that one, Harmon? Watching the sun go up and down, relatively speaking, regarding its elevation angle. Again, it's about optics, and more specifically, it's about angular resolution related to the non-Euclidean way in which we view things. Plain and simple.
Due to the perspective of the human eye. It's really, really simple. Everyone, thanks for watching, and God bless.